Paul Graham from Optimal Body Personal Training. Today I'm going to cover strategies if you're having a hard time making a specific change. Commonly, people have a really hard time with specific changes. So when I say a specific habit, I mean often we'll see clients who are struggling with something like trying to decrease the amount of late night snacking, or trying to make sure they prep food, or trying to make sure they have a healthy supper. There's a specific change they're trying to make, but for some reason they really can't seem to make it. So what do? Well, what most people do is try to use willpower to push through and make themselves follow through on this behavior. Then inevitably, a couple days later, a week later, 2, 3, 4 weeks later, they fall off track with that behavior, and then they're left sitting there wondering, why can't I figure this out? That's what the weight loss industry has trained you to think you should do. Essentially, suck it up, buttercup. You can do this. Just do it, do it, do it, do it. First thing, don't do that. Don't try to use willpower to push yourself through doing these behaviors. It will turn out poorly. Stop for a second and think about how many times you've tried to force yourself into doing a behavior and then it all falls apart. Has it ever actually worked out where you were able to change a behavior and sustain that behavior long term when you just kind of white knuckled it and pushed through to make yourself do some sort of change or behavior that part of you didn't really want to change? When we talk to clients who are struggling with this and start asking them a few questions, usually we'll quickly see there's some sort of ambivalence around that change. So part of them really wants to make that change, but there's another part of them that's not quite on board with making that change. So usually this is what happens. They have this battle in their brain going back and forth between these two sides. Most people try to push through and win that battle. They're like, if I push hard enough with that willpower, this side's going to win. Don't do that. What you need to do is allow yourself to actually give a voice to this side of the equation, the part of you that doesn't want to change. If you give yourself a chance to give this side of the equation a voice and actually acknowledge that that ambivalence is there, it's going to stop this battle back and forth and make it a lot easier to make the change or to figure out what strategies you need to use to make that change part of your lifestyle. There's 2 simple questions that aren't necessarily easy to answer, but they're very simple, that you can ask yourself that's going to help you to stop this battle between those 2 sides of the ambivalence. First, stop and think about the behavior or habit you're struggling with. Now, ask yourself these 2 questions. First, what's bad about changing that behavior or that habit? Second, what's good about not changing that behavior or that habit? Really actually answer these questions. It tends to work better if you actually get out a pen and a piece of paper and write them out, or verbally have this conversation with someone. Usually when we stay inside our heads, the thoughts kind of go around in a circle and you don't get any linear progress. Why are these questions so powerful? Often they'll give you a different perspective on your challenge, and you'll start to have a better understanding of why part of you really doesn't want to change. A lot of times this makes change easier because you get a better understanding of what it is you're going to be missing out on by making that change. Other times it also makes it clear to you that you don't really want to make that change and maybe you're not ready yet. So it's better to focus on changing something else. Essentially, these questions give you more clarity about what it is you're experiencing. So I'll give a quick example that will hopefully help you see how this can help. So let's use the example of having a healthy supper. Often we'll have clients who are looking to have a healthy supper, but then they're getting torn in different ways. So let's pretend that you're a mom and you're preparing food for your whole household, and you have this meal you want to eat at supper because you think it's really healthy, you're going to be feeling better, you're going to be losing some weight, it's going to have all these positive things. But then you seem to struggle with actually being able to follow through and make that healthy supper. Instead, you make other things that are really quick and easy to put together. So maybe you have big bowls of pasta, or you have pizza, or chicken fingers thrown in the oven, or something else that's really convenient and not necessarily the ideal choice. So if you were to ask yourself, well, What's good about not changing? Well, some of the things that are good about not changing, it's a lot easier to prepare that food. A lot of times people are stressed and exhausted by the end of their workday, and so part of their brain doesn't want to take the time to prepare healthy food. They really like having something super easy and convenient. What else is good about not changing? Well, for a lot of people, that fast, convenient, easy food oftentimes also gives them a sense of comfort. So this is another good thing. You're having a stressful, tough day. Well, that food's going to help to make me feel a little bit better. Now let's look at the other question. What's bad about changing? Well, if you're preparing a little bit healthier food, you might have some people from your family who are complaining or unhappy about eating those meals, and they are wondering, well, where's my chicken fingers, or where's my pasta, or where's my pizza? This can be stressful. And again, if you look at, I was already feeling stressed and exhausted, now I'm going to add more stress onto it, you can see how all of a sudden you're going to start to have that ambivalence. You still want to eat healthier, make better choices, but then that other part of you is kind of stuck. So there's no right answer on what to do from there. It's just a matter of deciding what it is you want to do. But you can quickly see how this can give you a lot more clarity on where to go with this. So there's potential strategies. If you know that for you, part of the issue is taking the time to prepare food, maybe you could find healthier options that are more likely to help you reach your goal, but also take no time to make. Or you might decide, I'm going to keep eating these comfort foods, but I'm going to eat to 80% full, so I'm not eating quite as much of them. And then that's going to help you move towards your goal. There's endless possibilities. The important thing is to stop and slow down, get a better understanding of what you're experiencing, which is exactly what those two powerful questions will do for you. Avoid the trap that the weight loss industry has sold you on, that you have to use willpower to push through doing these things that you hate. Instead, figure out how you can make this part of your life, part of who you are, in a way that's actually positive and you enjoy doing it.